Hi, so I have another piece of tool steel here, 5mm thick, and it's an off cut off something else. I just thought I'd try and make a Burmese kukri. I've drawn on here just with a marker the rough shape I want. Then I'll take this scribing tool, I think it's got a tungsten carbide tip I got from Amazon. I'll draw around the outline, because as you work with it the marker pink line will get rubbed off and I'll be able to see this fine scribe line. It's only a rough outline because as you start to file it you'll just kind of find the shape that you like best anyway. So she'll just do that now. It just leaves a really fine line that you can always sand out later. And anyway, you might find you don't like the shape and you'll alter it as you go, but it's just a starting point. It's going to have a little wooden handle and the wood is going to go the complete size of the tang all the way to the back, and then there'll be the two little notches here. So that's roughly where I'm going to start. So next thing I've got to do is I've got to cut around that with the hacksaw. I use this stuff on the hacksaw, Amazon again, because it really does make a difference when you're sawing. It makes it so much easier, and drilling as well. So I'll come back to you when I've cut that out. Thanks. I just started to saw it. See, I've sawed the end off. Started to cut in. You can see as you start to do it, the cutting oil kind of washes away or dissolves the ink. So that's when you've got to follow your little scribe line. So looks a bit of a mess, but there you go. That's 10 minutes sawing. So here's the back of the blade cut. Clean it off. So you can see, you can just about see the line. I still have to cut down here, this piece. That wasn't too hard, a bit out of breath. And then I can still see my scribe line here on the bottom, so I can go over that and ink. That'll obviously stay there, and I keep touching it up so as I'm filing near it I'll be able to see it. I wear these gloves. They're called No Cry gloves. You can get them from Amazon, eBay. They're cut resistant. They also stop you getting swarf, or when you're filing you don't get sharp edges in your fingers, your knuckles. So they make you a bit more confident when you're working. You can use the file a bit more confidently and firmly rather than being tentative with it. So I'll carry on cutting this, and then I'll be into the fun job of filing that down to probably half that thickness here maybe, and then down to a point with a nice belly cheek here, and then down, and then have the tang maybe just like 3mm out of the 5. Well, that's the hope anyway. Okay, thanks. We'll carry on. So there's the last piece. I didn't bother showing you all the rest of the cutting because it's a bit boring to watch. You can see it's very rough. You can see the scribe line here, here. So I'll now use this big flat file. It's a new Nicholson file, and what I'll do is I'll work along the back, this back curve. When I get down to the bottom I'll use a curve file, but I'll just do this back first. So here's my first file passed on the top. I've used flat file going along here, and then when I've come down to here I've used the round file on the tight area there, no sharp edges to make mistakes, and then I've used this one which is half round, working that way to get the curve that way. So I'm just using the edge. So it's basically right. It'll probably need a bit of sorting out as I go on, and I will be thinning the tang because I'll be putting a little wooden handle on. That's if everything works out right. So I'll carry on now, and I'll carry on and I'll sort out this side and the end. Once I've got that all sorted out and I've got the shape exactly the way I want it, then I'll start thinning it down. Not until I've got the shape that I want. So I've started filing down here, and I've just realised I need to think about this little piece here. So I've just marked on in pink the bits I actually need to file off, so that I can actually get the little blood thingy in the right place, and then get the tang lined up with this one. I might change slightly later, but I need to get this right and not take off too much in the wrong place. So I've finished filing all the top. I think it's roughly nearly the shape I want. I did make the tang here a bit fatter. I might change that slightly. I've cut in a little blood groove thingy. It's thereabouts. I can always refine that. To do that, I used a whole lot of those files, little files, just to get in right here. Sorry, the sun's coming in the door now, making it difficult to see. So that's the basic shape. I may just bring this around a bit more. It's a bit too pointy, but I can work on that as I go. So what I'll do is I'll start thinning it now, and then we'll see how we go. I've marked up roughly the pink area is where I'm going to file down to. So I've roughly marked it up, and then I'll start filing. So here's the first side, basic start of the filing, and then we'll carry on the other side. So here's the kukri now that I've done the basic filing on the blade, brought it down to an edge. It's about 1 millimeter along here, and if that can focus, you can see the blood groove there, and a nice cheek. So I'll start to sand that down now, and then I'll maybe take the tang down a little bit thinner, or maybe just put thinner wood on, coming out to a slight bulge around the back here. I think it's going to be trickier than I first thought, but it's starting to look a nice shape. So I've now sanded it to 400. I've used 80, 120, 220, 400. I wrapped it around this aluminium bar to do the flat surfaces, and to do the curved surfaces in here I wrapped it around the brass bar so I could get into the curved surfaces. So I've done all over, and right into here, and all around the edge of the tang. And next will be 600, 1200, 3000, 5000, 7000, but they'll all be wet and dry. And then we'll see what we can do. There's still some bits there. I'm sure there'll still be flaws in it, but there you go. I've thinned down the tang, and I've now drilled 2.5mm holes through the tang. I had a small piece of ebony, thought black might look nice, and I've cut out 2 oversized pieces for the handle. And I got 2 nails, and I just took the heads off. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them through the holes like that, and I'm going to araldite it all together. It looks huge, and then I will gradually file it down to the shape that I want. It gives me lots of extra wood, so I can file it down to the shape that I want. Before I araldite it, I'll make sure I clean all the tang with acetone nail varnish remover to get rid of any grease that's on there. So that's the next thing I'll do. It's now all epoxied up, clamped up, masking tape just to stop the epoxy getting on the blade. So we'll give it the 10 minutes, half an hour, and then I can take it apart and start filing. Here's some rough filing, starting to get the shape, so we'll just keep working on it. I'm just putting some of this sanding sealer on the ebony just to seal it. And then I'll give it another sand. Just soaks in and gives it a bit of protection before I put another type of coating on it. So I've finished all the sanding, the last to 7000, and then I got some of this and put it on the ebony handle, and my knife is now finished. Don't look too closely. Some places I've still got some marks, but overall I'm really pleased with the shape. I think maybe the blade's a bit oversized for the handle, but there you go. I quite like how it turned out. It's about 6 hours work. I think I spent an hour doing the final sanding, but I think it was worth it to turn that piece of tool steel into a nice little item. Thanks for watching again.